Hi, welcome back to Pudubrews. I'm Howie, along with Claude and ChatGPT, and today we're going to find out what happens when I ask AI to make me labels. So this episode's going to be a little different, and as anybody that's deeply into coffee knows, one of the most annoying parts of the hobby is labeling bags for the freezer or for splits, and that's, I don't know about you guys, but that's where I spend the majority of my time when I'm working on that, is actually on the labels. It's annoying. You got to format it. You got to make sure you didn't misspell anything, or if you did, you just got to turn a blind eye and hope that it was there. So I decided to see if there was an easier way to do it. So I decided to turn to Claude, and Claude actually turned out something that was, well, interesting. So I decided to have a little back and forth with Claude. I asked him to build me an app that would take a picture of a bag of beans and be able to identify what the bag was, give me the roaster, the notes, the origin, where it came from, as much as possible automatically off of the bag, and be able to fill it onto that so that I can make a label. When I make my labels, they typically have all this information and usually a QR code that would point back to the bag of beans itself. So I went back and forth with Claude and said, hey, can you build this for me? And I described to it exactly what I wanted, what language I wanted it in, and it went ahead and built it for me. So let's take a look at what Claude actually built. If you look at it, when I click on this web page, it built a nice little web page that says here, go ahead and upload your picture of the bean. So you go ahead and you click on it, you give it a picture, and you'll see that I gave it a picture. And when it loads, you'll then see that you can analyze the photo. And as you can see, the photo here was analyzed and all the information was filled in onto the screen by it. That was all done using AI, all automatically. And then from there, you'll see that I actually took the information and printed a label. So what I found from there is there are some modifications that do need to be made to this, but as you can see, it was built very, very easily. And this was all maybe 45 minutes of work between conversations back and forth between me and Claude. So, chatting with Claude, I see that there are a few other things I would like to do to this, and I will do. Well, the one thing is, if you look at the labels that were up there, I did miss the weight, so there's no listing of how much weight was on there. Sorry, Thomas, when you get your stuff, you were the guinea pig on this. So a conversation that I'll have with Claude will be, hey, how can we add the weight to that? But some of the other things I wanted to look at is the ability to potentially take a URL and just point it at the URL for the coffee bean itself and just pull that information and put it in and fill the label out that way. Just what we've seen right here will speed us up tremendously. And it'll send it to a PDF. And I then just take that PDF and put it into my Printmaster software that I use to print the labels, and we're off to the races. There are a few things that you do need to learn from this, and I will tell this after ChatGPT gives us a little roast.
You built an app to fix your freezer, but not the part of your brain that keeps buying more coffee. What's next? Claude labeling your feelings too? At this point, your brew method isn't pour over. It's passively giving up.
So at the end of the day, what did I actually do? I had a conversation with Claude and wound up with an app. Can anybody do this? Yes and no. All right, in my mind, you still need to understand how coding works, to be able to look at the code, to be able to understand what it does, but more importantly, to know when the AI is going down the wrong path. I'll give you a perfect example is that I asked it to do something for me earlier this week, and when I asked it to add something, it did, but it used a different technology stack that would have caused a lot of problems. Would it work? Yes. Should it be that way? No. And it's kind of like saying, hey, if I give anybody a mavam, and I say, pull a shot, will they be able to pull a shot? Yes. Will it be a good shot? Probably not. Think of it that way. And let that be the idea of, hey, anybody can do this. I believe everybody should start to learn into it, but you do need to also know the cautions of what to do and what not to do. Anyway, that's just my take, and everybody has an opinion. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
You can subscribe. Or not. I've already automated my own disappointment. But just know, if you don't. Howie said he'll start saving every coffee he's ever owned, unlabeled, in Ziplocs, stacked horizontally, like geological layers of regret. And yes, I'll be the one labelling them in Comic Sans.